This is my review for Halloween, the 2018 version with Jamie Lee Curtis, directed by David Gordon Green. And these are my notes, and there are spoilers in this review. My first note here is Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode is a more sensitive Sarah Connor from Terminator 2. She displayed another shade as well, and that's as someone whose life has been completely changed because of a traumatic experience. How her closest relationships have suffered because of this event, the event that happened so many years ago with Michael Myers back then. She was one of the best parts of this movie. Now Michael himself, he's menacing. When he's on screen, danger and death are right around the corner. Also, the weathered, distressed William Shatner mask looks fantastic. And I asked myself while watching the movie, is this a nod to the Rob Zombie versions of the franchise? Where I did not see all those films, but you can't deny that the look of the films was something else. It looked dirty, it looked kind of grungy, and the way the mask looked, it looked super cool, I thought. So was this a nod to that? I wonder. Small jumps in logic made me groan a bit. No one in Haddonfield noticed Michael walking around with a knife. I found what? And there was this one scene he's walking around at night, but there were so many kids around, so many people around. This guy's just walking around with a knife. And also Laurie, when she's hanging by the door near the end of the film, when Michael finally gets to the house to kind of execute her. Laurie and the rest of her family, she's just hanging out by the door when he gets to the house, which in turn leads to him grabbing her. I thought she would be smarter than that. The body count in the film, I counted 17 altogether, which is a huge amount for this movie, and I was happy with this. Believe it or not, I'm sorry, maybe I just am a gore hound, but I don't like a horror movie and the body count is 2 or 3 people for the whole movie. Especially a movie like this where it's kind of like a slasher movie. The Shape, like he's been called that, right? The Shape should make his return in grand fashion, and nothing says that to me like a large body count by his hands. Now, the comedy parts were not overly done. They fit very well. I'm assuming David Gordon Green's influences from infrequent collaborators. I found that on Wikipedia, that exact term, which I loved. David Gordon Green's infrequent collaborators being Jody Hill and Danny McBride. I think the comedy influences comes from them. I loved Eastbound and Down and enjoyed Jody Hill's Observe and Report. In both this film and TV show, there's hilarious comedy one moment, and then deep-rooted, emotionally sad and disturbing moments the next. And I saw that blend at work here with Halloween. Of course, I'm always kind of railing on this, but I did not like how effeminate the high school males were in this movie. One even cross-dressed as a girl for Halloween, and this was annoying. The adult men, they fared better, but a lot of them ended up getting killed. 86th by Michael. Halloween had a grindhouse exploitation feel, and I got those vibes with the updated original soundtrack by John Carpenter and I think his son, which was fantastic. Or I also got that feeling when Laurie hears the news report regarding the prisoner transport bus crash and responds by preparing her weapons, getting her gear together in some kind of a montage-y way. Or when former Eastbound and Down alum Omar Dorsey, who plays the sheriff, steps on the scene and gives his speech to Will Patton, who was also a pleasant surprise. That all gave me this grindhouse feel. Also, Dr. Sartan. It sounds like Zartan from G.I. Joe. Dr. Sartan, who has a curiosity about Michael, but then turns evil. And like I said, all grindhouse vibes I got from all that stuff. The audio tape throwback to Dr. Loomis and hearing his voice, that was a nice little piece in the movie as well. The movie was shot tight and up close with emphasis on the sound. And most characters look big on screen when you shoot so up close and so tight, right? So and not too much outside space, like when figures are on the screen. And in shooting in this fashion, also you're gonna see Michael, and he's gonna just, whenever he's on screen, he looks like humongous, like a Sasquatch size or something. So that was cool. My favorite scene was the beginning when the reporters questioned Michael in the prison. I liked the look. I liked the way it looked. I love how the floor outside looks like a chessboard, right? And like the reporters, they're approaching Michael. You never see his face. Like they approaching him from the back. When the one reporter pulls out the masks and pulls out the original Halloween mask, and he's kind of badgering Michael, the other inmates, including the dog, start going berserk. I love that. And then it cuts straight to the beginning credits with the famous theme song. Like I said, I loved it. Besides a few groan moments and a disappointing observation withstanding, I really enjoyed this movie. This market, which plays to the nostalgia of the 80s, will support a remake when done right. And this Halloween makes the grade.